the chat. Do you forget who you are? Do you also get insane? So we're all acting out of the egoic thought system and illusion, and it's not real because the Course says only love is real, all else is an illusion. So you forgive people for what they didn't do because in truth, they are only love. And you, when you say you don't forgive them for what they didn't do, you let go of the judgment. And inside there's this realization that they're doing the best they can, just like you are. Okay. So the first step in forgiveness is taking that responsibility. So what we need in forgiveness of the Course is to take responsibility for how you're feeling, understanding that the problem is not outside you, that the problem is a perceptual problem. So it's the responsibility. I take responsibility for this perception. I take responsibility of the way I'm perceiving this person. I take responsibility of how I'm perceiving myself. Right? So taking responsibility, that's the first step in forgiveness. The second step, I hope you're writing notes if you're a note taker. Second step is you forgive people for what they didn't do. So you lift up the veil of illusion, you wipe them in a clean slate, like, one of those whiteboards that you buy at the store, and you completely let go of all the judgments. You understand that everything's love and a call for love, and you have humility and you have an understanding, while this person has become insane, I also know how I become insane. This world is insane. Everybody's doing the best they can, right? So it's like this love that's extended. There's not making it matter. There's true forgiveness that happens here. There's really the call for Christ's vision here. Of course, the miracle says that the third step in forgiveness is giving it over to the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, change my perception. Holy Spirit, I'm willing to see this differently. Holy Spirit, I'm taking responsibility for my life. I'm taking responsibility for this situation, for how I'm seeing this situation. Course says right there, the miracle happens. What is the miracle in the Course? The miracle, it's not like a miracle. Oh my God, the Virgin Mary is here, right? Which she is. The miracle in the Course terms is changing your perception from fear to love. So the miracle's given when you have forgiven, and when you have forgiven, you're seeing in truth. Okay? Now, what does forgiveness look like in the world? It looks like this. Things that used to bother you do not bother you anymore. That's how you know you have forgiven. Okay? Things that used to get under your skin are no longer getting under your skin. You know you have forgiven. You know you have forgiven because you're not reactive. You know you have forgiven because you're not making something so real. That's how you know that forgiveness has taken place. So one of the key aspects to forgiveness include releasing resentment. So there's this commitment to releasing resentment, to understanding that holding the resentment hasn't helped in any way or hasn't contributed to going forward in your life. Another aspect is compassion and empathy. So when you're practicing forgiveness, there's this sense of compassion. There's this sense of understanding that you've been there, you've done that you also go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Another key aspect of forgiveness is healing and transformation. So when forgiveness takes place, there's a big healing and transformation that happens. Also self-forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Someone had mentioned forgiveness here in the chat, but self-forgiveness is amazing too. And forgiveness for the self looks like observing your thoughts and being mindful of them, actually feeling them. This responsibility of like, oh my God, I'm going crazy, or oh my God, I'm starting to make this matter. Oh my God, I really believe this person's my problem. Wow, I'm losing myself. This is very interesting. Right? It's an awareness there. You're not reactive. You're more like contemplative or observing or just witnessing. Right? Okay, I'm losing my mind. I'm starting to think I'm separate from God. I'm starting to believe, in my case, my husband's my problem, right? I got remarried in 2017 to an amazing man, Christian, and he gives me everything to practice forgiveness. So I'll probably be sharing about him today because he really gives me a lot of opportunities to practice forgiveness with him. So you go ahead and self-forgiveness is, oh my goodness, I have forgotten who I am. I'm getting into the egoic thought system. Let me go ahead and forgive. Let me go ahead and see what I'm thinking differently. And what happens is, it's like, I don't want to be a victim. I know what that life is like. So it's like, okay, I forgive myself for these thoughts. I forgive myself for this perception, and there's self-forgiveness and letting go that happens there. How this looks like in my daily life. How does this look like tangibly look like? Recently, I had the most recent thing I could think of is we just bought a home in Naples. We moved in March 1st. I started to see myself getting really obsessive with having my home look like a model home in a week. I wanted my home to look like Architectural Digest. I didn't realize that me, Maria Felipe, the personality, loves to have things beautiful and aesthetic and look epic sooner than later. I didn't know that about myself till I moved into my home. I mean, I know that I like nice things, but not to the level till I got here. It started to get really annoying because I started to become very obsessive. So this is what forgiveness looks like. Forgiveness looks like allowing myself to be obsessive. It's really letting go of the judgment on myself that I'm being obsessive, and just like, okay, I'm being obsessive. I'm getting a little bit cuckoo about my home. I'm going to allow myself to feel this way. I'm not going to do spiritual bypass. I'm not going to brush it under the rug. I'm just going to observe and be. Super uncomfortable place to be, guys, because we need to feel our feelings, feel it to heal it. Authenticity is sexy, is what I like to say. So you want to be authentic, be real, be honest. It's like, oh my God, I really make this matter. I want to come into my home. I want to feel like it's a home. Oh my goodness, I sold my other home and now I have this new home, and I'm so nervous. Whatever it is, right? It's like just living it out, feeling it out. Welcome to all those that are joining, by the way. We're in the middle, we're practically in the middle of the session, but you can always watch the replay, and please stay if you're guided. So in the moment, I decided, after I was able to feel it to heal it, I decided I had this gratitude come over me of like everything I had done, and that it's exactly perfect. The forgiveness was that, yeah, I forgot who I was, but I'm so innocent. My intention is for things to look really nice. My intention is to live good, and I'm putting so much effort. So instead of crucifying myself or making me wrong, there's a sense of gratitude of my persistence. There's a sense of gratitude of my excitement, and that I got excited, and that I made it a little too real. And then grace came over me, and I started to be grateful for what I did, what I didn't do, my obsession. That's what forgiveness looks like, at least for me in my daily life, for myself, how I forgive myself. And as you can see there, the dynamic of how I forgave myself is coming back to my innocence, and just this understanding that I'm really, really trying to do the very best I can. And that goes for you too. I feel that ultimately you are also really trying to do the very best you can. So when you start to come back to that innocence, like, then you get to like stop bashing yourself. You stop your all out war against yourself. Thank you, Celine. I really appreciate that. All out war. Have goosebumps now. All out war against yourself, and really like attacking yourself. And you're doing such incredible work, and you're giving so much time to that project, or you're just doing the best you can. And then you also bashing yourself and have this war on yourself instead of lifting the veil of illusion. Then you're able to see your efforts. You're able to see that you're really doing the best you can. You could see yourself that you're so innocent. It's like you're a little boy, you're a little girl dancing, la, 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 trying to do the very best you can. And then you go ahead and you slap yourself because you're like, you're not doing it good enough, or you're not on the good timing, and you forget what's underneath it all. Your efforts, your love, your passion, your purpose, your connection to your Father. So that's really important. So that's what forgiveness looks like in life, with forgiveness of self. Now, do you want to hear an example of forgiveness with a partner or with somebody outside yourself? That can be your mother, your father, your sister, your abuelo, your abuela, your husband, your child. You guys want to hear how to forgive somebody else, like a relationship? Okay, I'm asking because I want to make sure you guys are listening. Good, Celine, you're listening. Good job. All right. So, how do you forgive another? How do you forgive another? Linda's like, yes, please. Alberto's like, yes. Okay. forgiveness of another is incredible. It's like I get excited about it, like if I'm like in the best concert ever, because when you begin to forgive people, the Course in Miracles style, the Course in Miracles way, you are going to have so much peace. You are going to have just an incredible experience of life. And it's not going to be happy, go dandy all the time, but you get to live on your terms with the happiness that God knows is yours. Like you're going to be able to claim that in a very deep way because you have forgiven, because you know how to forgive others. The best part about forgiving another, and I'll get into what it looks like because I'm getting fired up here, is when you forgive another, you release both of you. It's incredible. All right, so who can I use as an example to forgive another? So I practice forgiveness, like I said, with Christian, my husband, a lot. And how it looks like I forgive him is like this. I'll give you an example because I think examples are great. We have an incredible community here. It's actually in construction right now, but we have a nice path that we walk on. I am walking and he has a stroller with my son and we're having a nice afternoon. Um, there was this interaction that he wanted to do something and I didn't want to do it. I kind of was a little snappy. So already the energy starting to get a little bit kooky. And we're riding the stroller, we're walking, but there's like this interesting energy. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't remember exactly what happened, but I'll tell you the forgiveness part. All of a sudden, he kind of like, when somebody like puts their hand like that or pushed me aside, I don't know, just kind of disregarded me and said blah 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 blah. And then I kind of pushed back. So this is the forgiveness part. I pushed back and I could feel my reaction. I can feel abandonment come up. Okay, forgiveness has a lot to do with awareness. All right, guys. And this starts to become a practice. So I was aware that I was being triggered. I was aware that I was making it mean abandoned, or I was being rejected. Right. So how many of you guys can relate to that? Like feeling rejected, like this rejection come up. Felt rejected. I felt abandoned. I was aware of that. And I decided to step back and allow that feeling. Okay. Yes, Lori, I know. The rejection, right? It's like, it's hard. He's on the stroller, and I had two choices there. One choice is I could put my hands up, which the ego was telling me, just go, walk away, go home, and just, be passive aggressive and walk home and call it a night and had like a bad night. Or I can just hold space and walk and begin to awaken. Okay. That's what forgiveness looks like. I wasn't reactive. And I realized that I had started it anyways from the very beginning because I gave him my little 2 cents before that. And I realized that my husband was doing the very best he could. And he was also coming from fear. So my choice is I don't want to react with fear. So it's more of, okay. And he didn't even, like, the ego would say he hit me, but he didn't really hit me. He was just like, it's just a reflex. Like he was like, like I do that too. I didn't buy into it. I didn't make it mean anything than what it was, than a shoulder shrug. And that my brother, which is my husband, and at this point, my brother and my husband, they're the same in the sense of spirituality. And I didn't do anything. It's not like in forgiveness, you don't do anything or you don't say anything. In this case, I didn't have to say anything because it was just given. And he went on to walk, and I ended up going with him. And we called it a night, and it was an incredible evening. We didn't talk about anything. I didn't react to his reaction. I understood where it came from. I understood where mine came from. Forgiveness had taken place. So does that make sense for everyone, that example? Let me know. I'm going to put the fan on because I'm getting hot. Alberto says, it's hard for me. And the story's a lot more powerful in the way I said it, but it was really powerful because I was able to let go of the judgment of what he was saying. Alberto says, it's hard for me to forgive because it's so important for me that the other person feels the pain they inflicted on me, especially when the pain was inflicted on purpose. I understand. Yes, Alberto, that is so powerful. Okay. And it's a little bit tricky. Because if we start to practice forgiveness of the course, and you start to realize that it doesn't work for us to want to give them the same pain they inflicted on us because it was on purpose. Because